There's no such thing as overnight success. Success is a series of small steps over a long period of time. We're going to talk about that in this video today, and it's going to be a good one. So let's get into it. Alright, so here we go. 5 minutes for the next 50 years. This is a speech given by Matthew McConaughey at the University of Houston. For those of you who don't know, Matthew McConaughey is an actor. He's won an Academy Award, 2 Golden Globe Awards, 3 Screen Actors Guild Awards, the BAFTA Fellowship, and he has a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. But before he was a world-renowned actor, he was just a guy who had dreams and aspirations, and he set out to make them a reality. In his speech, Matthew shares with the graduates some of the lessons he's learned throughout his life that helped him become the man he is today. He talks about the importance of having a plan and working hard to achieve your goals, but also about being flexible and adapting to new opportunities when they arise. There's a lot to unpack from this speech, so let's do it. It's not where you start, it's where you finish. You know what? That's right. It's not where you start. That's irrelevant. What matters is where you end up. A lot of people have different backgrounds, different sets of skills, different amounts of advantages. People can come from nothing and make it big, or people can have every advantage in the world and still wind up doing nothing. It's all about what you do with the cards you're dealt. And look, it's not about what you do in life. It's about what you do with what you have in life. Everybody has problems. Everybody has things that they need to deal with. The question isn't what do you have to deal with. It's how do you deal with it? How do you deal with those cards? Are you going to whine and complain about them? Or are you going to make the best of the situation? That's what life is all about. Now, Matthew goes on to tell the story of how he got started in his career. He took classes at a community college after high school, but he dropped out before finishing his degree because he wanted to pursue acting full-time. He moved to Los Angeles and started auditioning for roles, but he struggled to find work. In fact, he states, "For 5 years I went broke living on nothing but cold pizzas and the hope that tomorrow would be a better day." So, what do you think happened? He gave up. No, he didn't. He stuck with it for 5 years, which brings me to my next point. 5 years from now will be the longest 5 minutes of your life. You heard that right. 5 years from now will be the longest 5 minutes of your life. Why? Because when you break down your goals, especially really big goals, it seems more manageable. We like to look at this massive goal and think to ourselves, wow, that's a huge goal. How am I ever going to accomplish it? Well, when you break it down and you say, hey, 5 years from now, I'm going to be successful, then you break it down even further. Every month, every week, every day, all of a sudden it becomes something that's achievable. When you zoom out, it looks impossible. But when you zoom in, all of a sudden it becomes very possible. Look, 5 years is nothing. You could live to be 90, 80, even 100 years old, and 5 years is a blink of an eye. But within those 5 years, if you work hard and stay focused on your goal, it will eventually happen, and the reward will be worth it. Trust me, if it doesn't open, it's not your door. Let's talk about opportunity. Opportunity comes in many forms, and sometimes we get so focused on a specific path that we miss out on other opportunities that may be better for us. See, in life, we have all these opportunities that come our way, and we have to decide whether or not to take them. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's difficult, but either way, we have to make a choice. Now, Matthew tells the story of how he was offered a role in a major motion picture early in his career, but he turned it down because he felt it wasn't the right fit. Instead, he took on a smaller role in an independent film that ended up being much more successful. He says, when a closed door is a closed door, there's no opportunity to walk through it. Kick it in, break it down, tear it off its hinges, rip it out of the frame. That door is done. Move on. If it doesn't open, it's not your door. Stop spending time trying to make the perfect plan. Start making plans to do stuff that matters. Matthew knew that turning down the bigger role was a risk, but he trusted his instincts and it paid off. He could have easily stuck with the safe, conservative decision and taken the bigger role in the major motion picture. But instead, he took the risk and went with his gut. And it worked out for him. Sometimes you have to take risks in life and trust that everything will work out. It's not always easy, but when you follow your gut, you'll eventually find success. This leads us to the next point. Wherever you go, there you are. One of the most important pieces of advice that Matthew shares with the graduates is to remember that wherever you go, there you are. This means that no matter where you go to school or where you work, you're still responsible for your own happiness. You're the one who has to put in the effort to make things happen. You're the one who has to make your own luck. He says, you don't have to come from Texas to get a Texas-sized dream, and you don't have to come from Africa to have an African accent. You're responsible for the choices that you make and the attitude that you project. These words are so powerful because they remind us that we're in control of our own lives. It doesn't matter where we grew up or what kind of background we have. What matters is the effort we put in and the attitude we project. As students, we tend to blame teachers and professors for not giving us good grades. But the truth is, it's our own fault if we don't understand the material or if we don't put in the effort to learn. It's our responsibility to manage our time wisely and to prioritize our studies. Same goes for work. We can't expect to be successful if we don't put in the effort. It's up to us to make things happen. Don't be afraid to fail. Finally, Matthew leaves the graduates with a call to action. He encourages them to take risks, to pursue their dreams, and not be afraid to fail. He says, if you want to be somebody, then go for it. Don't be afraid to be seen. Don't be afraid to stand out. Don't be afraid to fail. This is such an important message because it reminds us that taking risks is essential to success. We can't play it safe all the time. Sometimes we have to step out of our comfort zone and go for it. Even if we fail, it's not the end of the world. We should learn from our mistakes and keep moving forward. Failure is just another excuse to learn and grow. And the more we put ourselves out there, the better our chances of success. So don't be afraid to fail. Failure is just another excuse to learn and grow. And the more we put ourselves out there, the better our chances of success. All right, well, that's it for today's video. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, I hope you've learned something that will help you on your journey to success. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe. And I will see you in the next one.